Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, and yes, today is Monday, March 4th. Had a good day yesterday with the granddaughter and the kids, and it was a good time. So I thought today we talk about, how do you attract the wrong kind of customer, I guess is the way to put it. And by doing certain things, are you attracting those customers? Stay tuned. Alright, welcome back. My name is Eric, and I do the weekday show, which is today, Monday. And I do a couple videos on the weekend, and I'll throw some out during the day on lawn and garden repairs or tractors. But today we're going to talk about how to attract the right customer. And by what you're doing, are you setting yourself up to attract customers that you don't want? See, sometimes by being the cheapest, sometimes will get you the most ambivalent customer you ever had. And I can even remember when I was selling on eBay that I learned quickly it was better off to sell one thing and make $50 than to sell 50 things and make $1 a piece to amount to $50. But when I first started out, I couldn't afford to step out and take risks. Chances is what they were. Because some of these purchases were $12, $14, $2,000. And you just hope like heck that the customer that bought it from you didn't try to do one of those switcheroonies and send back their old one, right? So we had ways around that. And then with us also, to this day, as a registered shop, we're still the cheapest labor rate out there. And I know some people that feel like if somebody's cheaper than the other person, they must be less than, right? Which is ludicrous, but that sometimes is the train of thought, I want the $120 an hour mechanic to work on my stuff versus the $60 an hour, because the 120 is probably more skilled. Not necessarily. So what can you do to not attract the wrong type of customer? And when I say the wrong type of customer, I mean when you try to do it as cheaply as possible for some customers, I don't care how good a job you did, they're going to nitpick. And they're going to cry foul. They're going to cry, oh, it's too much money, and throw little fits and want you to discount the price. And they're going to do this no matter what. It doesn't matter if the bill was half of what it was to start with. They still want to get a discount. And it all depends upon how much time you want to spend with per customer dealing with crap. What we tend to do is we tend to weed out throughout the year. And we make kind of a mental note. We know the ones that are pains in the ass, right? And trying to get paid. Because I hate chasing. And I try to treat people the way I would hope to be treated, right? So I offer numerous payment plans. Yes. I've had people pay me so much a month for 6 months to 8 months and to a year. As long as they were paying something, you know. Because there's like those three types of customers. The ones that come in, pay their bill, pick up their unit, and off they go, right? The second one is going to bitch and complain and want you to discount. They tell you it didn't need all that stuff, but will pay you or pay part of it. And then you won't see them until the following year. And then you got the third customer that is avoidance. That they don't come around at all. And the way we work at our shop is lawn and garden. We do a lot of pickup and drop-offs. So we have to put trust in our customer that they will pay their bill. We leave the bill with the unit. And we usually put it back where we found it, in their garage, undercover somewhere. So technically, we don't have any collateral when it comes time to try to collect, right? They've already got the unit back. What incentive do they have to pay you? They're mowing their yard. That's all they want to get their lawnmower fixed or serviced. But next year rolls around, and there they are asking to have their lawnmower picked up again and serviced. And this time, since we have a mental note of those customers, and we actually have their bills, Claude will not take that back until they have paid in full, last year's and this year's. And a lot of times, if the lawnmower really isn't worth it to us that we can turn a buck on it, it's you need to pay last year's before we'll start on this year's. But I do the monthly payment plan for folks that are on fixed income, young couples that are just struggling everyday stuff. And we also do what we call pro bono, and that is if we know somebody really could use a helping hand and we know that their income is limited, here, enjoy. And the joy I get out of it by doing something nice, something right by other people is enough. I'll eat the parts and the materials and the labor because I know they appreciate it. Now, if I know they have the money and they're trying to put themselves off as poor people, I've got a couple friends that are millionaires. And if you met them on the street or in my shop, you would swear they were the poorest people going. One of them is named Dick. And he's 83, and he wears these tattered gray sweatpants that are always stained. A sweatshirt that's all stained, coffee stained, everything else. But he's comfortable. And you'd be surprised at how many people give him the crap. By looking like he's the poorest person on the block, And another friend of mine just passed away, Kenny. He was the same way. He was always going around, anybody got enough money to buy me a coffee? Buy an old man a coffee? Mm-hmm. So how they dress and how they look can be deceiving. I've had people come in with, $600-800 suits and don't make squat because they got all their money in their suits. My Tennessee is along Dick and Kenny's line. I wear what's comfortable for me. I'm not out there to make a fashion statement, folks. If you see me on the street, you know that I'm local. I'm not out there trying to impress anybody. Here I am. And so much so that my wife and my kids get after me, where just this past week, 2 weeks, I've had jeans that had great big holes in them. And one right around the crotch area, of course. That set the wife off. So what are you doing, trolling? So as they got dirty, instead of putting them in the laundry again, in the wash, I threw them out. After the fact, I thought I probably should have washed them and threw them on eBay, because there's some stupid idiot out there that wants to buy them, that wants to look like he actually worked a day in his life and find that attractive for other women. But case in point, they are buying worn out jeans on eBay just for that look. They've never worked a day in their life, but they'll wear somebody else's jeans they have. So trying to get the right customer sometimes is hard if you don't know the customer. And I don't go by what other people tell me, because what I've found in the past is there may be a certain tension between the two of them when they come to dealing, where with me there's no tension. It's more of an attraction that we can get along, and I explain things out as far as the customer wants. I will go right into detail of everything that we did in layman's terms. And then if it's a mechanical guy that understands the lawnmower but hasn't got the time to do it, I can explain it to him mechanically what we did. And that puts a lot of people at ease. And people have realized with us is that we're not parts replacers. We will not replace any part on your machine that doesn't need it. That goes a long ways, because, I hear horror stories of, I think I've said it before on another video, of where a shop charged for a new battery, and all they did was just clean up the old battery and put it back in, and then put it down on the bill as new. But the customer had marked the battery and realized that it's the same battery. They just took it out, cleaned it all up, cleaned the posts up, put it all back in, made it look like it was new again, and I guess thought they could get away with it. See, that's the other thing you have to do if you're going to be in business, is you have to be honest. Honesty goes a long ways. Are there places out there that are doing shoddy work and not reputable that seem to get business? Yes. But that will only last just so long until they run out of customers, or that daily feed of people that don't know them that well. What I'm looking for is long term. I want the customer to last as long as possible. And I want to have them come back every year. And honestly, I want them happy. That should be the end goal of any service-oriented business, is customer service and having your customer happy. Now, I'm not saying every customer is going to be happy. I'll say it again. Not every customer is going to be happy, no matter how hard you try. You are not going to please them. And those are the ones that we weed out. And we've done before where we've tried weeding out that type of a customer, and the customer wants to know why we won't take their machine to get it fixed. And I'll ask, do you really want to know? And I'll explain to them. And they'll either get irate and stomp off, or I didn't know I was coming across that way. Kevin, I have another chance. And of course, if you want to try coming at me differently or coming at the shop differently, yes. But the same old isn't going to fly here. If you accuse my shop of wrongdoing, you need to back it up. Because one thing I will not tolerate is us doing something shoddy or something less than par. All right? Because I want every customer to walk away feeling good about the service, the price, and what they've got. Case in point, we just did a farm tractor for a gal. I say gal, she's in her 30s. And it wasn't running when we picked it up. She said it would run for about 5 seconds and quit. So, and it also had an exhaust leak. So we ended up fixing the exhaust leak. She had to take the exhaust right off and put in a new gasket. Get that all done up. And we're trying to figure out how to get it running and keep it running. And we ended up, the charging system wasn't charging. It was a 6-volt system. So I went and I talked with her and I said, look, this is the way it is. It's totally up to you. And she said she had been putting a battery charger on it, a couple hours before she go out and use it, because the battery got going dead even though it was brand new. It didn't help that she had her post hooked up differently, because on them older tractors it's positive ground, not negative ground. So she had hooked it up with, negative ground and positive, which would be just the opposite. So whether she burned that generator up or it was gone before she got it, I don't know. But either way, the generator was shot. And I think I talked about this in a couple other videos, but we ended up buying the first alternator, GM, one wire, off eBay. Put it on, wouldn't do anything. We had the tractor running good, but we couldn't get the alternator to put out to start charging. Wouldn't even move the meter. So, the second one was ordered. This one came in. We put it on. We checked the charging on it. And it went right up to 13.5, 14 volts that it should be when it's charging. And we thought we had it all figured out. All we had to do was button it up and send it home. Well, then it started having problems with it running wrong. And Claude was convinced it was the carburetor or the timing. And he spent a whole week, a lost week, working on that the customer did not get billed for. Because the end result ended up being the alternator went from 14 to pegging. We're off the charts. And in the process, it damaged the internal resistant coil. I'm surprised it didn't burn up the points. But that wasn't her fault. That was our fault. Because we should have checked that initially. Once we started having running issues. But we got that all figured out. We got her straightened out. And took it home. And she gave us a 5-star review on Google. And then the next day she got a hold of me. She said there was a little drip. She could smell gas around the carburetor. So Claude ran out. He was headed that direction anyways. Stopped in. Tightened everything up. Easy peasy. And she wanted to know how much she owed us. I said, nothing. You already paid us to have your tractor fixed. That's what I mean by good customers. You take care of your good customers. And there's certain times where you're going to end up as a shop eating something because of how you went about something, the process. And I had asked Claude numerous times throughout that whole week, you sure it's not electrical? And my gut said it was electrical. And he said, there's no way it could be electrical. And the way we found it was I wanted to start pulling wires off coming from the alternator to the system, and then from the system to the battery. I wanted to start figure out where the issue was. And the minute we took that wire off the alternator, that tractor started running just like a dream. So we threw the charger on it, the battery tester, charging unit tester, and that's when we realized this is no longer reading 13, 14. It's right off the chart. So another alternator was ordered and put in at my cost. So I'm going to start wrapping this up. You do have to be aware of customer that you're attracting. And being the cheapest isn't always the best, because a tendency is to attract people that are frugal and will bitch and complain about spending a dime. And you also have to, as a shop, have income coming in, so you want that customer to keep paid, keep caught up, right? And the normal way is to hold the machine until it's paid for. Because once you give up that machine to that person at the beginning of the lawn mowing season, they have no incentive to pay you, because their lawnmower is all ready to go and it's not giving them a bit of headaches all summer long, right? And you also have to weed out some of those customers that either won't pay you, or it's like pulling teeth. Only you can make that decision on which ones you want to retain and which ones you want to let go. So on that note, you guys have a great Monday. We'll see you here bright and early tomorrow morning, and we'll see what the day brings. On that note, thanks for watching. In the comments, if you have any questions or concerns, I read them all and I respond to them all. If you're getting anything from the channel, if you could subscribe and like and share it to your friends that you think might enjoy it as well. All right, guys, enjoy your Monday.